Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum everyone. This supplement is going to be a tutorial on how to very quickly get the hang of using a navigational compass. It's being prepared because I want to share with my audience a few of the adventures that have ensued from my rather anachronistic persuasion that I am better off using a navigational compass combined with road maps, of course, while I'm driving, instead of using GPS or live Google Maps, as is the norm in my city of residence, that is urban Lahore. But first thing is first, and I'm going to quickly run you through the formula and charts that you have to familiarize yourself with to make ready use of a navigational compass. Okay, number one, you have to learn an acronym. This acronym is NESW. Of course, I'm referring to the sequence that you see when you look at a compass. There are 4 points, of course, north, east, south, and west, and they are arranged such that if you move in a clockwise direction, they appear in that pattern, NESW. To remember this, what I was taught was that you rote learn that NESW stands for never eat shredded wheat. A friend of mine who had come from Canada when I was in 4th grade, he taught me this, and even though I actually never learned how to use a compass till I was 19 and never fully employed it till about 6 months back, I've remembered this the entire time. So I trust that this is quite adequate. Now, number 2. When you look at the image of the compass in front of you, you'll see that fixed at the center is a needle, and that needle has 2 points. Of the 2 points, one is pointed in the direction of north, and the other, of course, the opposite end, is going to by default be pointing towards south. To determine which is which, you can remember that north is typically it's colored. If it's colored, it's most typically it's black. Sometimes it's red. South, which is of course at the opposite end, is usually uncolored, but sometimes it will be colored white. But what you can what's certain is that if one half of the needle is uncolored, then for certain that half is the southern half. Okay, and number 3, in the method that I use, the southern end of the needle is redundant. You only need to attend to where the northern half of the needle is pointing. So you are just as well if you ignore the southern half. Okay, step 1. Step 1 is to suppose that the northern half of the needle is the hour needle of a clock. Supposing this, establish what time, so to speak, it would be if the needle points exactly to where it says E on the image in front of you. To reiterate, so to not where the needle is actually pointed in the image, which is perhaps 25 degrees or so anti-clockwise from E, but instead suppose that it points precisely to your right. So what time would that be? The answer here, quite obviously, is 3 o'clock. Step 2. For step 2, you have to memorize this very simple formula. 12 is equal to h plus n, where h is the numerical component of the hour needle reading we determined in step 1. That is, here h would be 3, because the hour needle reading set was 3 o'clock. So h is 3. And then n is what we're looking to extract in this step. So please process this formula. Since h is 3, n quite obviously would be 9. Convert this back into hours again, and we have 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock. This is the direction that you're actually facing. In the next step, we'll map this onto the compass. Step 3, the final step. For this step, you have to memorize the following chart, in which we have a merger of the clock and the compass. The chart says north corresponds to 0 o'clock, east to 3 o'clock, south to 6 o'clock, west to 9 o'clock, and then north again to 12 o'clock. Now take the answer we extracted in step 2, that is 9 o'clock, and plot it onto this chart. Easy, right? 9 o'clock, that's west. That's it then, you're facing west. For more complex directions, such as which yield n to be, let's say, 7:30, you have to learn to visualize the above chart and imagine n, e, s, w overlapping on a clock. Then you can quickly determine that if n has been in turn determined to be 7:30, it means you're facing north-south, which would be 6, and northwest, which would be 9, but you're facing southwest. That's it. That's the method. I leave you with a quick test of your skills. Please look at the north needle as it is actually shown in the image in front of you. That is, the north, or I should say, sorry, the northern half of the needle. The northern half of the needle is slightly anti-clockwise from E. The test is this: where, broadly speaking, would you be facing if this is what your compass shows when it's put in front of you? As a first timer, you should be able to determine the answer in 30 to 45 seconds at the maximum. And to facilitate, I've given the formula as well as the answer in the video's captions. Alright, more good stuff on this subject coming up soon, inshallah.